Shalom, brothers. Once again, Apostle Rakah back again with another video. I say all praises to Yahweh Shem Yahushai. All praises to Yahweh Shem Yahushai, man. The water Yahweh Shem Yahushai for having us in his circle, in this truth. Yad. You know what I mean? Anyways, as we all know, today is so-called New Year's Eve day. Later tonight, I know, well, like I said, I'm out here in, I used to live in the East Coast. I used to live in New York City up there, Connecticut, whatever. And I know back in the East Coast, it's a lot going on right now. You know, they're getting ready for the festivities, right? You know, they always have the rockin' New Year's Eve down there in Times Square. Right? You know, the ball drops down in Times Square. You know, that brings in the new year. And then by midnight tonight, we'll be in 2025, right? Wow. It's hard to believe it's been 25 years. It's been 25 years since 2000. And we remember when the 2000 came in. That's back when we still had the actual school or church in Connecticut up there. We were all at the school that night, gathered together. I think we might have did a class, and then we watched the so-called bullshit festivities. We were mad as a motherfucker, boy. We felt some kind of way that night, right? And we was new. We said, yeah, man, well, maybe next year, 2001, the Lord got to come to. Hey, it's been, a lot has happened since then. So it's been 25 years. So this evening, of course, Lord willing, I'll probably be with the other brothers of Dallas at the camp house, because we always, that's a tradition. We always do the New Year's Eve of Destruction show. So that'll probably be, Lord willing, later on this evening, which really is not the new year. The new year really begins sometime in February, between March and April, the spring, when the Passover comes. So realistically, damn, if you really want to look at it, the Passover is only, before you know it, the Passover will be here. The real new year. Because that's when the trees start budding again. So Lord willing, hey man, we got to start almost getting that in mind. We got to start getting our minds prepared for the Passover. Because the Passover will be here, Lord willing, in another few months. December ends, let me see, today is what, the 31st? Tomorrow's the 1st, yeah, so tomorrow will be in January. And then you got to also think, too, Trump will be taking office in another few weeks. And when this dude gets in office, man, things are really going to turn up. I was just watching a video with Apostle Tahar. He said, we're in the midst, he said, the U.S. planes struck Yemen in the Middle East. So we already in, man, everything that's going on in the Middle East, we already in World War III. Putin has already launched missiles on Ukraine, and he's daring the United States, or he's warning the United States, y'all want to get involved, man, then we're going to have a problem. So we already in, we're actively in World War III. But meanwhile, all these idiots over here in America, especially Jake, is all caught up on social media. These dumb niggas, but Jake is always in the dark. Jake don't realize shit until shit actually starts happening. Okay, but anyways, the motivation behind this video, the Spirit of the Lord actually gave me this video on my head. Because, you know, I was just thinking about my own personal experience walking around out here. And a lot of the times, a lot of carnal, I had a title for this video too. The carnal mind, the Most High is against the carnal mind, and we must walk in the Spirit. That could be the title for this video. The Most High is against the carnal mind, so we must walk in the Spirit, right? It's true, but it's so easy to get carnal. Apostle Gabar used to always say this. It's easy to get carnal. There's nothing to it, because it's just you allow your emotions and your flesh to govern you, which is really weak. It comes off as strong, the ego, and you got to watch it. You got to rebuke your ego, because as men, we have testosterone and we have an ego. And so as a man, like if another man you perceive is testing your manhood, automatically your ego kicks in. Shit, hey, even Eddie Murphy talked about that. Your ego. But the ego could be, the demons work through your ego. Fuck that, yo. I'm a man too, nigga. I ain't no punk. You see? And you know what? You may not be a punk. But then, if you're in the wrong, even if you're not a punk, you might be physically, your physical prowess might be over the other guy's physical prowess. But remember, the Lord always deals with the underdog. The Lord could put the spirit on some little tiny midget dude to beat your ass or kill you or whatever, right? So, you know what I mean? We all have a temper, we have an ego, but Satan can work through that. That's why we got to work. We got to out here maneuver in the spirit. That's why you had these guys. Now, like I said, I'm going to repeat myself. If it's legal, if brothers want to carry a firearm, there's nothing wrong with it. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with carrying a firearm legally. If you legally, you know, as long as it's legal, wherever you may be, whatever state or country you in, and it's legal according to Esau's law to own and carry that firearm, you can do so. The 12 disciples carried swords. So there's nothing wrong with carrying a firearm. There's nothing wrong with that, okay? You see what I'm saying? But even if brothers that have firearms should already be brothers on a level, you don't go around just pulling guns out on people. Somebody get mad. Every time somebody make you mad, you pull a gun out on somebody. So that's when you're going off. That's when you're being carnal. Now, these other guys, I remember these Sakari guys, some of these other guys, they come down to the camp with their guns locked and loaded, with their gun belts on and all kind of weapons on them. That's one thing we teach against too. For you brothers that do carry firearms, you don't bring your gun to the camp, man. If anything, you know, you leave it in your car, your truck, or leave it at home, whatever. But on the camp itself, no weapons on the camp. We don't bring, the weapon is the scriptures, man. The spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Because no matter what situation we find ourselves in, and we've had that, man. We've had dudes pull guns out on us. We've had dudes shoot at us. We had the cops pull guns out, surround us. But at the end of the day, the spirit of the Lord, if the Lord is with us, which we believe he is, the Lord gonna deliver us, man. You see what I mean? So, you know, that ego, Satan could work through that ego. It's a demon. But I'm going to get there. Let me read this, man. I'm going to bring something up. I'm in the book of 1 Samuel, right? I believe 17, 1 Samuel 17 and 47. And this was the prophet Samuel, right? This is 1 Samuel 17 and 47, okay? And all this assembly shall know that the Lord Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, saveth not with sword and spear, for the battle is the Lord's, and he will give you into our hands. That's right. So look at that, man. That's talking about back on Israel. We had armies and but we had swords and we had spears, we had weapons, we had an army. But really, overall, it was the spirit of the Lord, all right? A gunfight between some cops and some, whoever, and then whoever gets shot and put down, and whoever wins, the Lord controls all that. You understand what I'm saying? Or even a fist fight. You get into a physical altercation in the street. One person beat the other person ass. Somebody wins, somebody loses. Even in the boxing match, whoever wins, unless the fight was rigged, but if it wasn't rigged, whoever's going to win the match wins. Like when Muhammad Ali fought George Foreman back in the 70s in Zaire, Africa. Everybody thought Muhammad Ali was going to get put to death, literally. They thought George Foreman was like more scarier than Mike Tyson at that time. He was the Mike Tyson at that time, this a monster. He was bigger and stronger than Mike Tyson. He was just running through everybody, right? The guy that beat Ali, Joe Frazier was a bull. Right, he beat Muhammad Ali. Right, he was the first guy to defeat Muhammad Ali in the ring. And this guy, just big Frankenstein monster, George Foreman, came along and just made easy work of Joe Frazier. So then it came time for Ali to fight Foreman, right, for the title. So Muhammad Ali was making his comeback to get his title back. He already lost to Joe Frazier for the first time, right? And people said, man, you crazy, man. Ali, what you doing? Even people in his own camp was like, man, I don't know, Ali. You shouldn't take this fight, yo. You crazy? Because everybody was like, man, like, this guy destroyed Frazier. And Frazier beat you. So how could you possibly think you're going to beat? But, hey, Ali came and won the fight. in classic fashion. Because even that is spirit. It was meant by the Heavenly Father for Ali to win the fight. The battle is the Lord's. So I'm just using that as an example. So whatever situation we find ourselves in, if we're in the right, as long as we're in the right, we're in the right. That's an inside joke, right? If we're in the right, the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah will be with us, right? Because it says what? The battle is Samuel said that the battle is the Lord's. The Lord will get, so even the spiritual battles in your mind, everything goes into the spiritual, man, not the physical. That's why Samuel said with spear, so your gun or whatever you got, your gun or your knives or whatever, or even your fist. We got brothers that, and like I said, once again, there's nothing wrong with that, man. Come on, we train, I used to box. Apostle Tahar used to train us in the MMA. There's nothing wrong with knowing certain, we're Israelites, we're a warrior nation. So war is a part of our culture. But on this, right now, the Lord ain't dealing with, he ain't going to deliver us because of our physical prowess or our weapons. You shall be, the weapons of my warfare are not carnal, but spiritual. The other scripture says that, right? So this is for us to be more spiritual. And as I'm doing this video, I'm applying this to myself, man. As I'm doing this video, I'm going to go ahead, Romans 8 and 7. Because the carnal mind is enmity against the Most High, for it is not subject to the law of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, neither indeed can be. That's right, meaning being carnal. Being carnal is enmity. It's against. It's an enemy of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Because Yahweh Shai walked in the spirit. Remember, what did Yahweh Shai tell Peter? Right? He said, Peter, put your sword back in its place. He that liveth by the sword shall die by the sword. And you see that, case in point. Out here in these streets with these niggas, right? With these two-third niggas. Yeah, they got all kind of guns. They got all kind of goons and shit. They got numbers, right? But guess what? The story never changes. They all end up getting put to death or going to jail. All these drug dealers and, these street niggas, all these street niggas, these niggas out here in the streets and all that, right? But the story never changes. It's always going back to 30 years ago, 40 years ago, all these street thug niggas, or these big top drug dealers. I used to, back in the East Coast, I knew top drug dealer dudes, either they dead or in jail. Because eventually the party's over. You live in that lifestyle of the street and violence, eventually it catches up to you. Like in Boys in the Hood, right? Doughboy, right? They killed, Ice Cube played the character Doughboy. But that's real shit. That goes on every day. And they killed Morris Chestnut. That was his brother. Now, people say, this nigga mentioning fictional characters. Yo, those are fictional characters based on reality. And we all know people like that. That movie was based on reality. Out there in LA, Chicago, New York, Miami, Boston, that's based on reality. These street niggas, these gangs, somebody kill your homeboy, then you kill his homeboy, and then eventually you got a bullet with your name on it. That go back to the scriptures, right? He that killeth with the sword shall die by the sword. So all these niggas in the street that's shooting each other down like dogs, eventually the nigga that does the killing, at one day or another, it might be a year, 10 years, there's a bullet with his name on it. Or Esau catch up to you. The Lord won't get you either way. See? Ephesians 6 and 12. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. And we know, ultimately, the spiritual demon Satan is in control of all that. You fighting a spiritual battle in your mind against these actual angelic forces that are controlling the elites of this society, which perpetuate a lot of madness that goes on the earth. So the elites, Esau, these elite bankers, the Edomites, we know that. But who's the power behind them? Them demons, them actual spiritual demons, Satan and his minions in the spirit world that's powering these elites. But then overall, who's over Satan? The Most High, Yahweh. So at the end of the day, it all goes back to the Most High, Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. So we gotta, man, we're all pawns on a chessboard, man. So we gotta stay, if we go outside of the circle of the righteousness of the Lord, then we're subject to them spirits out there. So that's why we gotta walk in the spirit and not the flesh. You know, we gotta check our egos and to stay spiritual and keep our prayer strong, man. Keep our medicine strong. But that's all, man. I pray this video was edifying. I'm going to wrap this up, and Lord willing, on to the next video. I pray it was edifying. Shalom to the hopeful elect.